Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is the Community Pod, and I am your host, Lester Class. Each and every episode is going to be filled with amazing stories from amazing people. You will hear the different journeys people went through, or are still going through, to be able to do what they love. From the failures to the successes and everything in between. This is a place to get to know the person behind their passion, because people only get to see the successes and not what it took to get there. If this is your first time tuning in, please subscribe and leave a review if you love the content. Now finally, I would love to welcome you to the Community Pod. What's going on, everyone? This is the Community Pod. I'm your host, Lester Class, and I got Joel in the building. What's going on, Joel?
What's up with Lester? How you doing today?
I'm good. I appreciate you being here.
Of course, brother. Thank you for having me.
So I just wanted to get first off, if you could tell the people, what is it that you do?
So right now I'm a content creator / freelancer. I make web designs. I sell digital products right now. And basically I do anything to get me money, you know?
Okay. So I know that you have a clothing line, right? How recently have you started it?
So basically I had my first clothing line with a few friends, including my brother. We basically got together. We had an idea that we wanted to bring to life for years already. So basically a friend of mine was like, you know what, I'll invest into your ideas, because he's a lot older. So I was like, okay, we could do that. So basically I started all my designing, started making the content. Then after that, it fell apart. It didn't fall apart, but we split our ways. And I started Free World Matrix. And then I built a following and I started making clothing again. A blessing to God.
Okay. So could we go a little bit more into Free World Matrix? So I usually I just go into the beginning of life and everything, but since we're already here, so what is Free World Matrix?
So Free World Matrix, it's pretty the name itself. It's to be free in this world that we live in, and to break the matrix and stop living in society's rules, and to overcome anxieties, depressions. And basically what I do is give out certain contexts and art to motivate you, get you right, make you happy, you know.
All right, cool. So you mentioned that you grew a following. I know that following is pretty big on TikTok. So what was that process like on TikTok?
So basically I started making a personal TikTok with pictures of myself, and I wanted to just put my name out there and also give out mental health advice, just because I was going through at the point where I was going through different transitions in my life, and I wanted to better people and better myself. So I was journaling, reading, meditating. So I was I might as well just give out that positive energy. So I started taking pictures of myself and writing different content behind it, making people swipe and motivating themselves. Then I grew a quick following, 2,000, I'm going to say, in a matter of a month. And I was oh, wow, it was actually making noise. So I was okay. What I'm going to do, because I didn't want to keep putting my face out there. I was running out of photos, 1, and 2, I just wanted to express myself in different ways. So I started looking up art that I was fucking with and I really liked, and I was putting information on there on a separate page, which was Free World Matrix when I started, and it went really well. I started blowing up. I started getting literally thousands of followers overnight, and I was this is insane. And I just kept on posting 3 times a day, different art, and it was just from there on I just been building and building.
So just to get into it, because I don't feel people realize how difficult that is, but how difficult is it to post 3 times a day on TikTok?
Yeah, it's right now, when I first started, it was difficult. I'll post 1 or 2 times, and some days I'll even forget. And then I realized I saw the feedback I was getting, the people I was helping so much, and that motivated me to keep posting and finding that content that will make people happy, make people follow me, make people want to be happy every day. So that's what made me keep going, just the people's motivation, the people's feedback.
So what advice would you give to somebody on being consistent?
To be consistent, when you can't be consistent, you got to stay motivated. And you can't stay motivated, you got to be consistent. Because there's going to be some days where you don't want to do it, where you feel you forget because you're doing certain things in life, especially with content. Because every day we have to survive. You got to work that job. You got to make your hustles. And it's hard to reach for your dreams when it's you got to stay consistent. And it's when you stay consistent, it builds and it shows that progress, you know?
Yeah. And I just got to say that to be able to grow from, we spoke a little bit off camera, but
to grow from 0 followers to 200 and I think it's at 204,000 followers right now.
208,000 right
208,000.
now. Yep.
So damn. So you grew 4,000 since the time I last checked.
Yeah.
Because I checked maybe like 2 hours ago.
Yeah,
That's
it goes.
insane.
Yeah, it's like a stock right now. Like I've been stuck at 200K for like I'm gonna say a month and a half, 2 months, and it goes up like 8,000, and I lose like 100, 200 followers, and it'll go up again. So right now I'm just going at it, and I'm not gonna stop. I don't care what I have to do. I'm never gonna stop.
So like just to get into it a little bit, we don't got to talk about the amount, but when does it that you when or like how many followers? How does that work? When is it that you start seeing a little bit of money come off the account?
So I wasn't making any money for a while.
Mhm.
Like I got to like 150,000, and then I was getting a lot of feedback saying like, "Hey, can you write like a mental health book? You should write ebooks. Like like the information you're giving out, like you need to write ebooks." Like, and I was like, "Yeah, all right. Like I can start writing ebooks." So basically, I typed out ebooks. Took me like a month to do, and then I started posting it. Then I started getting a lot of like sales coming in after I was like attaching an ad at the end of each post, and I was like, "Wow, like this is dope." And then I started making other books. And the way I made the other books was I made help with ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
And it was giving me a lot of like examples. And I'll tell them like, give me 10 different names for a mental health book. And then it would give me 10 different names. And I'll choose or I tweak which one I like the most. And then I'll be like, give me different chapters. And I build off those chapters. So I feel like artificial intelligence and like TikTok helped me a lot to grow.
No, and I love that you. We on the podcast we've never spoken about the what is it, ChatGPT or anything like that. Artificial intelligence.
Yep.
I've never spoken about that. So like, how crazy or surreal is it working with something like that?
When I first started, like I was the first one at like my friend group that like figured this out, this ChatGPT, because I was on TikTok. And you know, TikTok is everything in the world. So I was like, what's this? Like this like artificial intelligence, like at your hand. So I was like, let me mess with it. So I hopped on and I saw like different things. You could ask it anything. You could tell me like, write me a 10-page essay, and it'll give you a 10-page essay on whatever topic you like. So I was like, well, how can I use this to my advantage? Like how is this gonna benefit me at the end of the day? So then I started talking to friends, obviously, and they were like, dope, this is like insane. It's like a robot that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
So then after that, I started investing my energy into it, and it just literally gave me such a blessing from it. Like, and I see a lot of people are making a lot of moves these days with artificial intelligence, especially like with long form content. Like there's different artificial intelligence that will cut and clip it yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to just get back into like you as a person behind all the things that you've been able to do, so where are you from?
I was born in Connecticut. Then after Connecticut, I was there until about 4 years old. I moved to Pennsylvania until I was about 9 years old. And then I moved to New Jersey, and I've been here since. It's been about 9 to 23, it's like 17 years, whatever the math is. And yeah, after that, it was a blessing, man. I grew up in Wallington. I'm happy I grew up. It was a small town. It was a friendly town, and I'm just happy I never grew up like in the streets or like was over here trying to act the toughest. Like Mom told me always like stay true to myself and always stick up for myself. But at the end of the day, like all that other stuff, like it was close. Like I had friends that were like the town over, it's Passaic and Patterson. It's like one of the worst cities in Jersey. And I was just happy. Like I stood on my toes. I played sports growing up. And then after sports, like we started venturing into clothing. Then clothing became creative. And then all this just started happening.
Yeah. So what is it like to be able to look, I guess, from the outside looking into a community like Patterson and saying, I appreciate the fact that I have what I have. You know what I mean?
It's a lot. It's a lot that goes into it. I feel like just being born there itself is like the community itself. Like you got to be careful. You got to have your head on a swivel. You got to make sure you stay in different programs, stay out the streets. And I feel like growing up in Wallington, it took me out that route. Even like growing up there, I didn't have to get into fights. I didn't have to prove myself to nobody. I was just basically like becoming myself more and more until I became who I am. And I feel like I stood out there. So our group as a collective, like the 5 or 6 of us that were venturing into like our dreams and possibilities, it really helped us up a lot instead of growing up in a place like Patterson, Passaic.
Yeah. And to talk about a little bit about like you and how you found yourself, do you feel like you found it pretty quickly?
No, I just feel like I still haven't found myself completely. Like
Okay.
that's an ongoing process, finding yourself. I feel like no one has ever, if you say I found myself, you found a part of yourself that you're comfortable with at this point. because there's gonna be certain things in your life that bring you different emotions and make you feel certain ways. They're gonna make you change, and change is good. You know.
So to continue on, right? So where is it that you found your passion for? I don't want to say this creative aspect, but there's a lot that goes behind it, and I can tell. So why is it so important for you to help people?
It's important because I seen people personally, like my family, my friends, go through it, and I feel like I was always there, giving the helping hand, giving the motivational, and I was like, you know what? It's not just people around me; it's everybody that's going through it. So once I ventured into that, and I saw the people that needed that help, and they were DMing me, giving me the feedback, saying they love the content, they love the type of person I am, the advice that I give, it just motivated me to become better and better, and try to seek out and help people every day.
Yeah. And what does that feel like to, create the TikTok, the social media account, and be able to go and, like, now that you've been able to grow it at a point where, like, you're reaching people from across, the world at
Yep.
sometimes, what does it feel like to be able to give motivation to people that you don't know, as well as people around the world?
That's the thing. TikTok is a hell of a brand, like a hell of a app. When I saw the people I was reaching on TikTok, like people from Russia, Germany, Paris, people were DMing. I was like, this is crazy. Like, it's crazy how a certain platform could help different people like excel in their lives just by a swipe of a video. And it's like, yeah, it was a blessing seeing people from all over give me that feedback, being so happy, and give me different language. I can't even read the language. Google Translate it, and I thank God every day.
Okay. And so you mentioned a little bit off camera that you, before the clothing, before the TikTok, you guys had basketball.
Yep.
So what do you feel? Do you feel like basketball has a weird way of translating to the real world?
100%. Our coaches will always say it. It was like the time management. You got to be there a certain time. The discipline, going to the certain places and staying there. And then the motivation to becoming better. I feel like those three things just basically teach you on what to do in life and like how to be not self-centered. I want to be self-centered, but like to like worry about getting yourself better and like focus on your position on a team role, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's sometimes where people don't understand that a lot of things that you learn as a kid, even the things that may not seem obvious, they're trying to progress you in life, especially if you're taking it serious.
No, it's true. 1,000%.
So to just go on, like, a little fun thing. So what position did you play?
I played 3 different sports. I played football, I played quarterback, receiver, and I played defense, cornerback. Basketball, I played shooting guard, and baseball I was all over the field, but like in the infield, like shortstop. So I was just all over. I started varsity since I was a freshman. It was like that was like my dream. Like that's what I wanted to growing up: play sports, be in college, go NFL. But I feel like life took me a whole different route. I'm grateful for it.
Yeah. And what advice would you give to somebody that, they may have had a route that they believed that they were going to go on and it didn't go the way that they expected it to?
I feel like as long as you put your hard work in and you dedicate yourself to whatever you like at that moment, if it's sports and it doesn't figure out to be sports and you can't be a professional sports athlete because the percentages are so low, it's like you understand that this world is huge and this world is yours. You could do whatever you want in this world. If you want to be a janitor, go be a janitor. If you want to be a superstar, you could be a superstar. Whatever you want to do in this world, I feel like as long as you stay consistent, hardworking, and you realize that there's different paths in life that'll take you different areas, and you're grateful, I feel like you'll forever be blessed.
Exactly. And I feel like a little personal experience was there's so much money in this world to be made, and it's not that it's impossible to obtain it.
It's not.
You know what I mean? Like, we are constantly taught that, or constantly told that we're never going to be able to get to some place, that it's out of reach or anything like that, but nothing, like you said, is out of reach.
Yep.
Anything is possible, and you just have to go out and go get it.
Yep.
Ever since I started this podcast, I've been able to receive DMs or messages and people that are willing to come and be on this podcast.
A blessing.
Where I never expected it to come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
And it just shows me that there is a possibility.
Yeah, and it's only going to get better and better.
Exactly. You just got to go and whatever you want to do in life, just go get it. Type shit.
For real, and you got to realize that there's no boundaries in life.
Mm-hmm.
That glass ceiling could be broke at any time. It's all about what you want to do and if you want to break it.
The thing I spoke about recently was I feel like for individuals who have a hustle, like ourselves, who don't see boundaries, that we can continuously break them, it's the fact that like I personally, I would love to hear what you think on this, but I personally don't think I have this boundary where it's like I'm gonna be happy at this point. I don't think so, because the way that I see it is everything's gonna get more expensive.
Yep.
And if you stay complacent, prices are gonna go up. Everything's gonna go up.
Yep.
Are you willing to give up and just stay at one spot and think you made it? Everything's gonna go up in price.
100%.
Are you going to be able to obtain and continue to go up? So there's no boundary in life.
Yeah, there's always gonna be that better yacht. There's gonna be that better car. There's levels to it. And I feel like as long as you want to prolong it and want to stay in the longevity of the things, is like you find the happiness within. Like I feel like the happiness is not found by materialistic things and like having the baddest girl and bad. I feel like what, especially in the message I push, is like mental health is everything. There's billionaires that are sad as hell. And it's like, what is that? What is the world if you have anything in it but you're sad? You have no one to share with. You're not grateful to have anything. It's like those things are just useless at that point. It's about your mental health and the way you see yourself, perceive yourself, and perceive this world.
Exactly. And so to go on off of that, you mentioned that you meditate, and like you said, mental health is very important. Why is something like mental health so important?
I feel like in the world that we live in every day, there's so much going on here, especially the new era we're living with this technology. There's a lot of videos and pictures getting fed to you to show you like, this is happiness. And everyone on Instagram is so happy. Everyone on TikTok is traveling all around the world. But it's like, at the end of the day, those people aren't really happy. Everyone just posts what they want to post just so they can seem like they're happiest or like they're brightest. So I feel like I like to get behind that. Whereas like, no, at the end of the day, your favorite Instagram model is at the end of the day crying, looking through Free World, trying to get motivational advice, because it's not easy out here. This world is hard, bro. There's not, you got to go and get it like we were saying before. No one's going to give it to you for nothing. No one's going to give it to you.
And because why would they give it to you if they weren't giving it themselves?
Exactly.
And even the people that were giving it, they're not going to go and share that with you, because then their own money or their happiness might fade.
It's getting cut, yeah.
So I love that we were able to talk about that, because mental health is very important, and being able to identify where you are not, I don't want to say failing, but where you're at your lowest in certain points and aspects in life, identify it and go after and understand that it's okay to feel that way, but there's always an understanding of I can do better or I can feel better. So, like, I don't know what what nationality you are. What nationality?
I'm Dominican.
Dominican.
Yeah.
So what is it like to, were your parents, if you don't mind me asking, were they born here or they?
Yeah, my mom was born here in the Bronx, New York.
Okay.
And my dad was born in Dominican Republic.
Okay, got you. So what does that feel like? Because a lot of people, I feel like in our area, it's more accepted and understanding that, I feel like it's very different in the places that we grow up.
Yep.
There's people that are Dominican that grow up in a place that's white predominant, and they receive racism, right?
Yep.
And we were lucky enough to grow up in an area where, in reality, there's a lot more of us than there are of the white people, which is completely fine. I feel like diversity is amazing.
Yeah.
And seeing, like we were talking about, seeing different point of views is amazing as well. So to be able to be Dominican and work as hard as you do and be able to show that you are a hustler, which I feel like a lot of individuals who come from immigrant families and understand that we have to be able to put on or be able to make it for them at some point in life. What does that feel like to be able to do that and be able to pursue and say, I am a hustler?
Well, I feel like it all started with my dad. I feel like my dad grew up hustling, and I see him always trying to do whatever he can to put food on the table, to make us happy, to get us to new games. So I took that lead and took that role into being a hustler, because at the end of the day, I feel like growing up in the society we live in is like you're supposed to go to high school, go to college, graduate college, work a 9 to 5, get a 401k, and then die. I feel like hustling is a whole university. It's our own university. It's like you don't have to go to school. You could go ahead and sell books. You could have people podcast. That's real hustling. And it's not even hustling, it's creativity. I feel like to be a hustler, you gotta be creative. And I feel like that takes a big role in who I am and why I hustle, is because I have so much like endeavor into this creativity I want to like express.
Yeah. So to be able to do what you do and have the clothing, the brand that you have, what does that feel like to be able to say and actually be at the point where it was like, all right, I have my brand?
It was amazing when like I said, I first started the first brand I had with my brother and my friends. It was a blessing. I was like, just to be able to make designs and seeing the people wear these designs and wrap your message and they're over supporting you. That's a blessing. I love that. It's like having fans in the audience when you're playing sports, you know? So it was like, once I saw that and I based off that and I grew even more and I saw all these people supporting and showing love, it was like amazing. I was like, bro, I feel like I'm on top of the world.
So where did you get the inspiration for your design was that your first ever merch, the hoodie?
Yeah, the free will design is basically, it's like a Rose Arc test.
Okay.
A Rose Arc test, when the different people show you, and like when you're like, when you're getting interviewed by therapists and they want to see different opinions you have on certain things, they show you those different pictures. And it's like, it's not really pictures, different like images.
Yeah.
Like, so basically I wanted to revolve it around that because I loved like the type of pictures and images they had, and it played a big role into like mental health as well because everyone has different opinions on different things they look at, just like those photos. So I wanted my sweater to revolve around whatever you look at it, you perceive, and there's nothing wrong with that. So that's where I kept the design from.
Got you. So other than the brand and the TikTok, you mentioned that you do other things as well. So what are some things that you do?
So basically I reach out to different clients for like social media management, or I do web designing for like different upcoming entrepreneurs that are trying to start the e-commerce, or even like strategy calls, or I teach people how to use ChatGPT, or I teach people how to use like their creativity, So it's like just handling here and there like a design consultant. I'm just all over the place. Whatever people need, I try to get after.
Okay, cool. And I wanted to go back a little bit because you mentioned that you did the ebooks and everything. So what did these ebooks look like, and how did you get yourself into ebooks?
Like I said, I always knew what an ebook was. It was a book, electronic book.
Yeah.
But I never thought of selling them. And the information I was putting out, the art I was putting out, everyone was like, bro, you have such a good taste in art, and you know exactly what to like tell these people, like to make them feel better. Like, can you make a book? They're telling me, can you make a book for us? And I was like, okay, I could do that. Like, and I charged like the first book I charged like $1 just because I wanted to help people. I don't care. And basically, yeah, that's what motivated me to get into those ebooks. And once I got into the ebooks and I was realizing, I started typing it out, I was like, this is dope. And people are going to read this. And I started getting sales and the feedback. And I was like, I'm never going to stop being an author. Like, I want to help people. And also, it's just an amazing thing to do, to like leave something behind, It's like, that's another thing, is like this podcast, the clothing. These are things people are going to see after we're gone.
Exactly.
It's like we're leaving these, and even us to look back on, is like, it's different stages and different things that motivate people, motivate yourself to like look back and laugh at,
Yeah.
I feel like that plays a big role in why I made these ebooks and why I make clothing, because I want to leave something behind in this world rather much than just my ideas and things I've said,
Yeah.
I would do it.
I actually want to get a little bit into leaving something behind, right? Because like you said, we don't realize it, but we do it every day.
Yep.
When we record, when we take a picture, when we happen to be in the street and somebody else is happening to be video recording, and they just so happen to notice it's you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just all around us all the time. Why is it so important to leave something behind to you?
Well, I feel like no one knows why we're actually here. I believe in God, and I feel like we're here to spread love and to gain our full potential and to help other people gain their full potential and reach for love. But I feel like no one knows why we're actually here. And I believe in God, but some people don't believe in that. And I respect whatever they believe. So it's like, if you don't believe in God and you feel like there's darkness after this, wouldn't you want to leave something in this realm, in this experience that we're having here as humans? So it's like, it's a blessing to like be able to be creative and put your own twists to things and leave it behind, because there's a lot of people that are just sitting here and just working at 9 to 5. What they're leaving behind is just a life insurance check. It's like, I want to leave something else behind. I want people to see the videos I took and the pieces I made, and like, like Virgil, long live Virgil. I feel like everyone respect that because he left so much behind, and he had that whole creative process of becoming who he was with the people he was with, and it was a blessing,
Yeah, and I feel like to go off on leaving things behind, I think that people don't realize, like you said, all this stuff that we leave behind is going to affect the next person or the next generation while we're not here. And I think that's a big thing for me, is just leaving something behind so people understood that I don't want to, how do I say this, that I didn't waste my time. That I didn't sit here and I let time go by day by day, hour by hour, month, year by year. Like, it just was nothing. Like, it was just like, who was he?
Yeah, it's like, that's what happens when it's like, it's a blessing when you're able to take those ideas instead of just sitting with them in your room and not doing them, actually putting them on, like putting the work in, put the hours in, starting from one follower, starting from one like, starting from nobody liking you. And it's like building and leaving that thing behind. It's just amazing. It's a blessing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think it's the fact that, I think a big thing that just sticks with me sometimes is, do you know your great-great-great-great-grandfather?
That's the thing. I don't. But
Exactly.
I'm the type of person where I want to know that. And I've been digging. I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, who is my granddad's dad's dad?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was he like? What was his interest? Like, what if we reincarnate as them? And like, we give like the piece. I always
what
have
if we look like them?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's like, I feel like there's different levels right there. It's like that we get through, Angie.
And I feel like that's so important that people don't realize. Like, that's why it's so important for us, and I think that's why it's a big thing to us. Is that we leave something so that if maybe not the world knows who we are, at least our family does.
Yeah.
Because the fact that our own family, like myself included, I can't even go and say I know my great-great-great-grandmother or like my 5th, 7th cousin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, down to like, who are they? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just sad. And I think that's why it's so important to us to leave something, because do I want my great grandchild to not know who I am?
Yeah, I love that.
And it's just so much bigger than people realize. Like, we may be here for one lifetime, but that doesn't mean what we leave behind will be left for just one lifetime.
100%. That's what I was talking about. I was like, we're here for what? Compared to the universe existence, we're here for blip.
Exactly.
For blip. That's what we're here for. So it's like, I might as well, instead of following society's rules and following what they want to leave behind, which is that life insurance check, I want to leave my own message behind, my own creativity behind for my, like you said, my great-great-grandson is like, oh, look, he started this. This is the reason why I'm wearing these clothes today. He's the reason why I'm speaking like this today. The reason our culture switched is because he started that movement and he wasn't just sitting in that room not doing nothing.
Exactly.
Or like working that job, you know?
Exactly.
100%.
So what advice would you give to somebody when it comes to chasing their dream?
Chasing your dream, I feel like it's a long path. I feel like you can't sit here and think you're going to blow up overnight or you're going to reach your full potential in a matter of a month, 2 months. I feel like you never reach your full potential. Like people say there's peaks. I feel like it's like a stock. There's different peaks in life. You go up and down in life, especially when you're chasing your dream, because people are not going to support you. There's people that are going to not even look your way. There's people that you grew up with that you thought would sit there and copy your merch or listen to your podcast and don't even bat an eye to it. I feel like when you stay in your creative process and you stay faithful to yourself and you stay dedicated to what you're doing, I feel like chasing your dream becomes more of just a lifestyle.
I love the way that you put that. And to just go back into it, right? Why do you feel that? I've never asked this before. Why do you feel like you're here today?
Here at this podcast?
Here on Earth.
Oh, like I said, it took me a while to find what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. And I feel like right now I finally found what I'm here for. And I feel like what I'm here for, and I feel like what everybody's here for, is to spread love and to be creative in your own thought process and to break boundaries and to create a ripple in the universe instead of just staying consistent of what the norm is in this life that we live in. I feel like I said, Free World Matrix is about joining the free world and breaking the matrix. Not being who you're set to be, is being who you want to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, like, do you feel like you would even be where you are right now if it weren't for TikTok existing?
You know what's crazy? I had no idea what TikTok was. I had a girlfriend, and she used to tell me all the time, go on TikTok, I'll send you a TikTok. I'm like, I'm not going on TikTok. You know, I feel like everyone was on that at first. Like, I'm not going on TikTok. That's a little kid or girl thing. And I saw the platform, actually what it was, and I was like, oh, snap. this could be something. So 100%, I feel like TikTok played a huge role into who I wanted to become and who I'm becoming today. And I feel like it's a blessing. Like they're trying to ban TikTok, and I was like, don't do that. It's literally saving this universe. I feel like it's literally everyone's connecting more and more. And I feel like as society progresses, there's gonna be different apps like TikTok that'll click us even faster, get us together more. Like I feel like what TikTok has is like it gave everybody a platform,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like as long as you have that content, as long as you're gonna blow,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna meet the right people, you're gonna gain that algorithm. Like it's not the easiest thing to do. Like I told you, it takes months to do to find that algorithm to become who you want to become for the people who know who you are. But it's gonna happen. I feel like TikTok is a huge deal for that.
Okay. So when it comes to Instagram, have you been able to do the same things on Instagram when it comes to the pushing the content?
Well, right now I haven't made a TikTok, Instagram for Freeworld Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
Well, basically my Instagram is Freeworldglory, which
Mm-hmm.
is myself. It's like what I push on Instagram is creative content, like lifestyle content, or like even like clothing content. I'll do like daily vlog or a daily clip of like a friend. Like that's another thing too. Every single clip I have, every single video I have on my TikTok or my Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
I grabbed my friend. I was like, "We're making a video," and he's like, "I've never been a model. I can't model. I don't care what you do. Today you're in a model. Today I'm a photographer. I'm a videographer, and you're the model. We're gonna make this content. We're gonna push each other out there." And I feel like that's what Instagram was for me,
Gotcha.
rather than TikTok being faceless. Behind the scenes.
Yeah. And what is like? I feel like that's sometimes not that it's hard to show your face behind that TikTok page, but I feel like it's a different type of energy to be able to receive love, and people have no clue who's running the page.
Yep. You know what's crazy? I found like joy in that. Cause at first I was like, once I started blowing up, I was like, boy, I'm never telling people who I am. But I was like, no, like right now I'm like more like I'm starting posting those Instagram reels into TikTok. People are starting to like talk to me more and like, oh, you're actually a creator. Like you're not just a random person on the screen making screenshots. But yeah, I feel like Instagram is a whole different vibe from TikTok. TikTok's so much more fast paced than Instagram.
Gotcha. So we are getting a little bit close to the end. I know that the time runs by pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I do have a few questions that I really wanted to get into, which were more personal.
Okay.
So what do you feel like has built you to be who you are today?
I feel like all the struggle I've been through. I feel like all the times I was let down. I feel like those dark times is what made me who I am today. And I feel like when you appreciate those dark times and you appreciate all the times people turned you down and didn't look your way, that when they do, it makes it so much more better. So it's like when you work and you want to become who you want to become, it's like I love it.
Okay. So what do you feel like is one of the lowest moments that kind of clicked for you and was like, okay, no problem, I'm going to do way better than this?
I feel like there's a few things in my life growing up. Growing up, I got arrested in high school, and I got kicked out of high school. In my last year, my senior year, I got kicked out of high school. And I feel like at that point, I realized, like, I'm nice at sports, but I'm going through what I'm going through for a reason. And it was nothing crazy. It was, like, just for, like, a cart or something. And I realized, like, once I transfer schools and, like, the sports were going to work out, I'm not going to go to college to play sports, D1 athlete. I feel like that was the time it defined me into becoming more than just another sports athlete, than just another person working a 9 to 5 or going to college. I feel like this is the time where I had to make or break and become who I want to become. Either let the things that brought me down bring me all the way down, or use that to motivate me to become better and to break those boundaries and not to be that person everyone perceived me as. I wanted to become better. I wanted to become the person that I wanted to become.
Mm-hmm. So what advice would you give to somebody that is going through a tough time like that and doesn't know how to or doesn't understand where to go?
I feel like everyone's going to tell you that their life is set, that they got this going on, that they got that going on, that they want to do this and that, especially in high school. And you see them now, and they don't want to do what they're doing. And they don't know that this path that they took was what they wanted to take. And I feel like I'm not gonna say you got time because life is short, but venture into yourself. Go outside, see what you actually like. See what the world has to offer you, rather much than just the little mindset that you have growing up or at this moment. You're gonna be older. You're gonna change. You're gonna become better. And I feel like as long as you stay on top of that and you remind yourself that today's just another day and it's another day for me to get better, then you will forever just progress into happiness, into light.
Okay. So, well, you mentioned something during the process. So, like, what was that moment when you felt like it was a make it or break it moment? Because I feel like a lot of that happens after high school, because it's kind of like, all right, I need to make a decision, and this may make me or break me, or it may stall me, or it may make my life a little bit quicker to get to where I need to get to.
Well, I'm gonna say most recently that made me start Free World and like believe myself the way I do was when I started that brand with the friends. I feel like business and friends don't correlate too much. I feel like when numbers and money get involved, I feel like things go south sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes shit happens. But I feel like during that time where I let go of that clothing brand and those friendships and realized that I want to be better, I want to be looked at how I want to be looked at, and I know like my value in this life and what I bring to the table. When I left that clothing brand and I focused on myself, I didn't know what was next. I was so focused on designing this clothing brand and building this clothing brand that I was like, what's next for me? But I realized all those things I went through, even though it was tough times and like I didn't make the money I wanted to make, that it doesn't, like, all the experience I had was 10 times worth more than what I actually did. So it was like all that experience pushed me to become who I am today and start Free World and be able to make the clothing I wanted to make. Because I never made that first step and failed, then that second step would never blew up like Free World did.
Got you. So to get into the questions a little bit more, I got a few more personal ones. So what is it that inspires you to wake up every morning and do what you do?
Like I said, I love the content that I post. I love the feedback that I get. I love building people. I love having people tell me, please keep posting. You're helping me every day. I wake up every morning, go on my phone just to go on your page to motivate me during the day. I feel like that's what keeps me posting. That's what keeps me trying to help people. Because there's dark times where I wish I had somebody or a page to look at, and I had no idea. So I'm happy I'm there to be that provider of love and support and like creativity on the side.
Gotcha. Last but not least, my last question is going to be, if you could give a message to your future self, because I know that earlier we spoke about how these little things that we do in life are unintentional messages for ourselves. But I would like you to speak directly to you and yourself from any years from now. Yeah,
I feel like I try and do this every morning when I meditate. I try to speak to my higher self and try to connect to him. But I feel like you will never know who you're actually going to become. But it's like, as long as you stay true to yourself and you make sure that no one is going to perceive you the way, and you care about how people perceive you, then you will forever be great. And as long as you keep helping people and you continue to push and become more of a creative in different ways, then you will forever be blessed, even if you're not making any money. Like you said, this podcast, it's a blessing just to be on here. For me, I never thought myself in high school getting arrested would be in a podcast telling my story and telling why I am the way I am today. So it's a blessing itself. So I feel like just that by itself should motivate myself to become and keep going to be better and better, and to keep helping the world and spread that love and that message of true passion into your work.
Okay. And I got one more question for you. I knew that was the last. I told you that was the last one, but I got one more.
You're good.
What advice would you give to somebody when it comes to having something like being kicked out of high school, right? A bad moment, a bad thing that you may have done in your life, and not letting it define you. What advice would you give to somebody?
I feel like when those bad things happen and you learn early in life that shit goes sideways, and there's going to be things that don't make you happy, and there's going to be things that shift your plan and your goal at the end of the day. I feel like as long as you begin to take care of yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally, and you start to spread more love, that isn't be easier to get through those dark times. And it's not easy to get through those dark times by yourself. So I say find the people that you love, keep them close. It's okay to have conversations. Be true with the people you love. Don't hide nothing. Make sure you have that person that understands you, because at the end of the day, it's a lone world. It's you. It's you by yourself in that casket. But it's like God put the people around you here for a reason.
Gotcha. Okay. So we are at the end of the podcast. This is your opportunity. If there's anything you want to say, any advice you want to give, the camera is now all yours.
Well, I'm planning on making more mental health ebooks, and I am also planning on making different creatives come together like ourselves and conversate and network. And I'm in the future, probably the next 2-3 months, I'm planning on calling creative parties and making different brand deals and helping the people I love build, and more clothing, obviously, by the way.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my outro.
Yo.
But Joel, I appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, brother.
I appreciate what is it, Free World Matrix,
Yo.
for being here. So this is the community pod. I am glad that you were able to stay through the entire episode. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any audio platforms, please leave a review. It allows other people to find the podcast. And going back a little bit to YouTube, if you leave a like, comment, and put on those post notifications, it helps a lot. Last but not least, welcome to the community pod for anybody that's new here. And if you've been sticking around and watching all the episodes, I appreciate you for coming on every week to watch every episode. It means the world. And we are out. Peace.
Peace.